Everyone says that Twitter is the hardest social media platform to grow on. You gotta engage for 2 hours, no algorithmic support, and also not enough reach. I used to believe that too, until I discovered something that completely changed my perspective. What if I told you these exact problems with Twitter are actually what makes it the most profitable platform for the business owners? I know because I built a business by just writing on Twitter, and also I help hundreds of people do the same thing. Let me break down each social media platform first, and then I'm gonna show you what everyone is missing out about Twitter. So let's cover the pros and cons of every social media app for your business. And first we are gonna cover the upsides, and then we are gonna cover the downsides of each of these social media platforms. So let's first start with Instagram. And Instagram is great for a few reasons. First, you have stories and highlights, and you can use these stories to make call to actions, and then you can have highlights under your profile to showcase your client results or other things that you want to show to other people. And after that, second advantage is it's a visual platform, and with visual stuff it's actually easier to build trust and let people know more about you. So this is another advantage. The last advantage is with Instagram Reels, with short form videos. If you create really good short form videos, they'll have really good reach and they'll actually generate you a lot of traffic. So now let's go to the YouTube. And YouTube also has really good advantages that other platforms don't have. So the first one is YouTube is a long form native platform, so most of the videos there are long form, and long form videos are really good to build trust because you are basically going in depth and explaining a lot of things in depth. So this is actually really beneficial for building more trust. And second thing is evergreen content. So for example, with Instagram Reels, you can post a reel and it can generate you traffic for a week, for a few days. But after some point, it dies out. But with YouTube videos, they'll consistently deliver you traffic if you generate good videos, because with the search engine of YouTube, it's the second biggest search engine. And if your videos are very optimized when it comes to the SEO side, they'll actually generate you a lot of traffic in the long run. Yeah, these are the advantages of YouTube when it comes to the evergreen content and actually the SEO side. So let's jump into TikTok. And TikTok also has a lot of advantages. So the first one is the viral potential. So if you catch the right trends on TikTok, they have a lot more potential to go viral compared to the Instagram Reels. So this is another advantage of TikTok when it comes to the short form video virality. Combined with the viral potential, you have the fast growth. So when you are going viral back to back and you are creating all these short form videos, it's really expected that you are going to grow fast. So that's another advantage. And after that, you have the casual content advantage, because with TikTok you can really create those casual short form videos where you talk about stuff and really be personal. So these videos are easier to produce and they do better. So this is also another advantage of TikTok. The first advantage of Twitter is that it's great for thought leadership, because the other platforms it's more about like the aesthetics, the editing and other kind of stuff, but on Twitter it's more about ideas, it's more about writing, it's more raw. So people judge you based on the quality of your ideas. That's why it's very good for the thought leadership side. And the next advantage is the instant networking advantage, because on X it's very easy to network with other people. You can jump in the DMs, you can drop some comments, have the conversation in the DMs, and you can meet with really cool people, really great entrepreneurs very easily. So that's a really good advantage. And after that, again, we have the virality potential. This is also similar to other platforms, but with X it's a bit different. It's written content mostly, or with viral threads, but it's still a good viral potential. You can just create some thread and it can be seen by hundreds of thousands of people or even millions of people. So X has really good viral potential when it comes to organic content. And after that, well, this is one of the advantages that I like the most. It's great for growing your newsletter, because newsletters are really powerful. I don't have to explain it to you, I think. So when you have your email list, you own it and you never lose it. And when it comes to the other platforms, it's a bit harder to grow your newsletter, because newsletter is written, and if the platform is visual, for example with Instagram, it's a bit hard to convert those people to the written newsletter. But since Twitter is written, it's very easy to direct those people to your newsletter and they'll happily read it, because the Twitter platform is also like text native, so it's like makes a really good connection when it comes to building your newsletter. And the next advantage is also something that I really like: no high production needed. So The advantage of this is that you can create like 3, 4, 5 tweets a day. You can post them and you can basically test different ideas, and you can easily see what ideas work and what ideas don't work without spending hours like editing content or without spending hours recording videos. So this is really a good advantage because right now you can test ideas pretty easily and you can like easily see what ideas work, so you can double down on those ideas really fast. The other advantage is Twitter has a really strong community, and when you are engaging with other people, they are going to engage with you back, and then you'll make a lot of friends. So everyone is very supportive. You are supporting them, they are supporting you, so you are easily building these like mutually beneficial relationships with other people, and you are easily building your community. So this is a huge upside, especially if you are someone that's just starting out with branding, building your audience. This is a huge plus because when you have your community, you can actually easily get more engagement and grow faster. The other advantage is it's really good for driving traffic because with Twitter you can do like offer plugs under your good performing tweets. You can post links, you can have the link in bio, or you can basically drive traffic to wherever you want, whether it's your YouTube video. Sometimes I like plug my YouTube videos under my posts, or sometimes I plug my newsletter, or sometimes when I'm promoting something I can easily basically direct that traffic to somewhere else that I want people. And the last advantage of Twitter is that it's really ideal for B2B brands and personal brands because it's actually proven in a study that the IQ of people on Twitter are higher and they are basically favoring written text. So on Instagram or TikTok, it's basically mostly brain rot content, so people are just scrolling without thinking anything. But on X, when people are scrolling, they are reading stuff, they are focusing on something, and they are basically giving their attention. So this is a huge plus because when you are creating content on Twitter, you are actually targeting people that have the attention span and people that are smarter. Okay, so now let's look at the downsides of each platform. Now let's go to Instagram and look at the downsides. So as you can see, the first downside is constantly evolving editing styles and actually like constantly keeping up with the latest editing style that works, that's trendy. So that's the first downside. The other downside is your videos need to be really engaging, otherwise they won't work. The other downside is the aesthetic part of the Instagram. So if your videos are not super aesthetic like all these people, you are going to be left behind because those aesthetic reels will generate more attention than yours. The other downside is that it's a saturated platform, so it's hard to stand out. There are all these personal brands and there are a lot of like good quality reels, really aesthetic reels, so it's very saturated for that. The other downside is that it's basically time consuming to create all these reels, the editing, the keeping up with the best editing style, so all of these are very time consuming. And the last thing is that Instagram can shadow ban you without telling you anything. I have a lot of friends that are shadow banned and they don't know why, and weeks have passed and they still are shadow banned and they don't know what to do. So the policies and all these stuff are a bit confusing sometimes, so that's also another downside. Okay, so now let's look at the downsides of YouTube. Like it has a lot of like unique advantages, but it also has a lot of downsides. So the first one is the high production effort. So video creation takes a lot of time because it has the scripting, it has the editing, like you have to be on camera, like talk for minutes like I'm doing right now. So it's not as easy as X or maybe other short form platforms. So that's the first downside. And after that we have of course the slow growth effect. So it takes me basically 6 months or a year on YouTube to see some results because the it's a bit slower to gain momentum with long form platforms on YouTube because people that just met you, like they don't have basically 10 minutes to listen to you or 20 minutes, so it's a bit hard to gain momentum. So that's another downside. Another thing is you have to really depend on the SEO and algorithm because if you want your videos to, for example, get views consistently, like we talked about in the advantages, you have to really SEO optimize your like videos. You have to look at the competitors' videos and basically create a really well thought out strategy. And it's not very easy. It's actually very hard, especially if your keywords, if your niche is saturated. So that's another downside. And after that, another downside is that I think this is like the worst one for the beginners. Like there is no direct engagement because, for example, on X you can engage with others, others can engage with you back, and you can basically build this community and you can basically grow together faster. But YouTube is actually not a social media, so you are not interacting with others that much. You have just the videos and sometimes people comment, but this doesn't create the social interaction like other platforms. Like you don't have DMs like Instagram or X, so this really limits the social capabilities of YouTube. And like the slow growth downside, it requires a lot of commitment. So like I said, it takes like 6 months to a year to see some progress, see some results with YouTube. And when you are like committing to something for like 6 months, for a year, it actually takes a lot of commitment, so that's also another downside. So now let's look at the downsides of TikTok. Let's see. So first, we have the short lifespan. Like the other short form videos, you are creating a video, it can generate you traffic for a few days, for a week, for 2 weeks, but after that basically it dies out. And after that, I think this is the biggest downside of TikTok, the low buying intent, because as I also said, like TikTok is mostly like the brain rot content, even more brain rot than Instagram. So people are just scrolling like teenage people just scrolling, and you are creating this like valuable business content, and most of it is probably seen by like unrelated people, or if it's not fun enough, like the algorithm won't promote it to other people. So basically it has low buying intent, and I think this is the biggest downside of TikTok. And also similar with other short form platforms, it's kind of hard to build trust with like these shorter videos, but I think TikTok is fighting that with like longer videos, and also sometimes like these more personal videos gain more views. So this is actually maybe improving. But another big downside is that high competition, because there are a lot of people that are posting content on TikTok because they think that there are a lot of people that are going viral and making money by just chasing trends. And people think that okay, if I just chase trends I can also like make money, but this doesn't happen that way because there's a lot of saturation and there's a lot of competition. And this is also connected to the last downside, which is like trends. Like TikTok trends can be powerful to grow your brand, but at the same time it's like unreliable because you are just relying on trends, and if you can't find a new trend, or if you can't basically adapt your brand to a new trend, your traffic source will be cut, and it's very dangerous to basically just rely on something that's outside of your control. So now let's look at the downsides of Twitter. So the first downside is the short content lifespan, like all the other short form platforms, but this time you can repurpose your content pretty easily. I always do that. Like I go a few months back and find my best performing post, and now I know that if I post this post again, it will do well. So you can easily repurpose your content on Twitter. That's all actually a plus. So the other downside of Twitter is that you have to post daily and you have to create content daily, but in my opinion this is not a downside, because like creating content on Twitter just takes a few minutes, and if you know what works, if you have been posting for a while, it's actually pretty easy to create good performing content. For example, on YouTube it can take you hours to create some content, or even with like IG Reels it can even like take you still hours, but this time you can like basically just like take a few posts or even repurpose your best performing content, and you can create posts in just like 10-20 minutes. So this is actually not a downside. So the other downside is writing skills matter, and they actually matter a lot, like the hook, the formatting and all that stuff, creating engaging content. But the plus side is that you can learn writing easily, like pretty well. Actually with my videos I talk about a lot about how I create content and all that stuff, and once you learn writing, this actually differentiates you from other people. And another thing is that writing is a really core skill, so when you learn writing it actually applies to everything, to YouTube, to Instagram, like writing scripts, writing emails, or even like sales, all that stuff. So once you learn this core skill, and it's pretty easy to learn, you will be actually differentiated from all the other people on X that don't know how to write engaging content. So the last downside is that you have to engage for 1 hour every day with like maybe tens of people. So people think that this is a downside, like now every day I have to engage with people, but I always think of this as a upside because, for example, when you look at YouTube, like it takes for you like 6 months or a year to basically organically reach all those people. But when you have the engagement advantage, you can just find other related people, you can engage with them, and you can basically both grow your network or also get clients and let people know by just engaging with them, sending messages and commenting. So this is actually a huge upside that increases your growth and makes you grow faster and makes you get clients faster, because the other side is that on YouTube you can't engage with other people. So it actually the only reason that maybe makes your YouTube growth real small, but on X basically you can engage with other people and this will help you grow really fast. And at the same time I have my own like engagement and networking systems that I can basically just engage for 15-20 minutes a day and I'm basically getting thousands of views every post. So when you look at the disadvantages of Twitter this way, these are actually not disadvantages, and I would also add them to advantages, because like the short lifespan thing, like you can repurpose content, daily posting, like it's very easy to like create content, and with daily posting now you can post daily and every day you can test new ideas and see what works well. So it's really easy to test ideas and see what works. So this is actually an advantage. And writing skills actually makes you basically good at everything. It's a foundational skill, and engaging may be a disadvantage to some people, but if you do it well, it doesn't take a long time and it makes you grow super fast. So basically I can confidently say that these are not downsides and these are maybe like more upsides, like let's say like these are more upsides. So while everyone is chasing viral trends on TikTok or struggling with Instagram's algorithm, the smart entrepreneurs are building valuable networks and generating real business on Twitter. So the real question is, will you keep avoiding Twitter because of its perceived difficulties, or will you leverage these advantages to build your business while everyone is looking the other way? If you are the second kind of person, definitely check out my free Twitter growth course, where I cover everything from posting your first tweets to generating high ticket deals in the DMs, even if you have no experience. So it's on the screen. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.